University Wits. The term University Wits designates a collective of accomplished English playwrights and pamphleteers during the late 16th century. This group comprised individuals educated at prestigious universities, namely Oxford or Cambridge, who emerged as notable secular writers. Among the prominent figures associated with this cohort were Christopher Marlowe, Robert Greene, and Thomas Nash from Cambridge, along with John Lyly, Thomas Lodge, and George Peele from Oxford. While Thomas Kidd is sometimes included, his academic background differs from the aforementioned institutions. This diverse and gifted assembly of London based writers and dramatists played a pivotal role in paving the way for the Elizabethan theatrical renaissance. Recognized as some of the earliest professional English writers, they provided a crucial foundation for the literary landscape that would later welcome the works of William Shakespeare, born a mere 2 months after Marlowe. The term University Wits was not coined during their lifetimes. Rather, it was introduced by George Sainsbury, a 19th century journalist and author. Sainsbury's analysis identifies the burgeoning creative energy of the 1580s, which manifested itself through two distinct branches of literary activity. Firstly, there exists the Assembly of University Wits, a diligent, if occasionally less prudent band of dedicated men of letters. This group is led by notable figures such as Lyly, Marlowe, Greene, Peele, Lodge, Nash, and potentially Kidd, whose university affiliation is not definitively established. Secondly, there emerges a more diverse collection of outsiders, including players and other individuals compelled to engage in literary and chiefly dramatic composition. This second faction claims Shakespeare as its central luminary and boasts an array of contributors, not only the fledgling talents of Shettle, Munday, and others mentioned in this discourse, but also numerous accomplished figures from subsequent eras. In essence, the term University Wits encapsulates an instrumental period of literary and dramatic ferment, with its distinct branches fostering the remarkable flowering of creativity that characterized the Elizabethan literary landscape. John Lyly. John Lyly was an English writer, dramatist, courtier, and parliamentarian, best known during his lifetime for his two books, Euphyism, The Anatomy of Wit, published 1578, and its sequel, Euphyism and His England. Lyly's distinctive and much imitated literary style, named after the title character of his two books, is known as Euphyism. Lyly was educated at Magdalen College, Oxford, and went to London about 1576. There he gained fame with the publication of the two prose romances, Euphyism, The Anatomy of Wit, and Euphyism and His England, which made him the most fashionable English writer of the 1580s. Some of his major works include Endymion, Campaspe, Sappho and Phao, Galatea, Midas, and Mother Bombie. Euphyism. Euphyism is renowned for its unique style known as Euphyism. This style is characterized by heavy use of antithesis, often at the expense of clarity, with added emphasis from alliteration and similar devices. It includes references to historical, mythological, and natural figures from encyclopedic sources like Plutarch, Pliny, and Erasmus. Euphyism embraces symmetry, balance, alliteration, and rhythmic language flow. While it may appear exaggerated and artificial, it introduced innovation to English prose during this time. Walter Scott mocked Euphyism in Sir Percy Shafton's character in The Monastery, while Charles Kingsley defended it in Westward Ho. While Lyly's Euphyism is not considered a masterpiece, it played a crucial role in inspiring later Elizabethan authors. It influenced the development of elegant prose in the Elizabethan era and served as a significant source of inspiration for many of Lyly's contemporaries and immediate followers. The work achieved immense popularity during its time, and Lyly adopted the name from Roger Ascham's The Schoolmaster. Robert Greene. Robert Greene stood as a prominent English author acclaimed in his era, now renowned for a posthumous pamphlet often attributed to him, titled Greene's Groats, Worth of Wit, bought with 1 million of repentance. This pamphlet is widely believed to contain a pointed critique of William Shakespeare. Greene, a notable figure in the Elizabethan literary landscape, excelled as both a dramatist and a pamphleteer, famed for his critical perspectives on his contemporaries. Believed to have been born in Norwich, he pursued education at Cambridge, securing a BA in 1580 and an MA in 1583. Subsequently relocating to London, he is arguably recognized as England's earliest professional author. Greene's literary journey proved prolific, spanning a range of genres encompassing romances, plays, and autobiographies. His creative output yielded more than 35 works from 1580 to 1592, a testament to his dedication and versatility. In his initial literary endeavors, Greene meticulously adhered to prevailing literary trends, initially modeling his work after John Lyly's Euphyism. During the later 1580s, Greene's authorial voice matured, leading him to craft prose pastorals, just like that of Sir Philip Sidney's Arcadia. These pastorals, adorned with delightful yet sometimes tangential lyrics, earned Greene the recognition as a poet in addition to being a prose writer. Notably, his pastoral masterpiece, Pandosto, published in 1588, served as a direct source for Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale, showcasing Greene's lasting influence on him. Navigating the realm of theatre, Greene's dramatic contributions are marked by intriguing complexities. The exact dating of his plays remains a matter of conjecture, and his role as a collaborator has sparked ongoing debates. His comic brilliance shone through in works like The Honourable History of Friar Bacon and Friar Bongay, a triumph of romantic comedy in English drama. Noteworthy also is the Scottish history of James IV, slain at Flodden, a work that drew on fairy lore and foreshadowed Shakespeare's comedic and romantic masterpieces. As his career approached its culmination, Greene delved into exposés, shedding light on the Elizabethan underworld. Works like A Notable Discovery of Coosnitch and the successful and amusing disputation between a he-conny catcher and a she-conny catcher demonstrated Greene's sharp wit and incisive observations on society. In retrospect, Robert Greene's legacy endures through his multifaceted literary contributions, which traversed diverse genres, explored the theatrical realm, and left an indelible mark on the Elizabethan literary canon. Some of his notable works are Pandosto, The Honourable History of Friar Bacon and Friar Bongay, The Scottish History of James IV, slain at Flodden. Controversy with William Shakespeare. About 1590, Greene began to compose serious didactic works. He related prodigal son stories, beginning with Greene's Never Too Late, which was published in 1590. That Greene drew on his own experience is evident from the tract Greene's Groat's Worth of Wit, Bought with a Million of Repentance, printed posthumously in 1592, with Greene's admission that Roberto's experiences were essentially his own. In Groat's Worth appears the first printed reference to Shakespeare, assailed as an upstart crow, beautified with our feathers, that with his tiger's heart wrapped in a player's hide, supposes he is as well able to bombast out a blank verse as the best of you. George Peele. George Peele was an English translator, poet, and dramatist most noted for his supposed but not universally accepted collaboration with William Shakespeare on the play Titus Andronicus. Many anonymous Elizabethan plays have been attributed to him. Still, his reputation rests mainly on Edward I, The Old Wife's Tale, The Battle of Alcazar, The Arraignment of Paris, and David and Bathsheba. Literary career. In London, he became associated with Robert Greene and others known as the University Wits, who were attempting to make a living as professional authors. He experimented with poetry in various forms. His earliest important work is The Arraignment of Paris, a mythological extravaganza written for the children of the chapel, a troupe of boy actors, and performed at court before Queen Elizabeth. The remainder of his career was devoted to writing plays for the famous stage, only four of which survived: a tragedy, The Battle of Alcazar; a chronicle history, Edward I; a biblical tragedy, The Love of King David and Fair Bathsheba; and his most enduring achievement, the fantastical comic romance, The Old Wives' Tale. He also wrote commemorative poems and city pageants. Thomas Lodge. Thomas Lodge embodied the versatile spirit of the Elizabethan age as a poet, dramatist, and prose writer. His most notable contribution was the prose romance Rosalind, a precursor to Shakespeare's As You Like It. Born to Sir Thomas Lodge, he attended Merchant Taylors' School and Trinity College, Oxford, before studying law at Lincoln's Inn. Lodge began his literary career with a response to Stephen Goson's attack on plays, followed by An Alarm Against Usurers, which exposed money lenders' practices. His poem Silius Metamorphosis embellished classical tales influencing Shakespeare. His other poem Phyllis featured sonnets and eclogues, and A Fig for Momus introduced classical satire and verse epistles to English literature. Lodge's Rosalind, Euphyism's Golden Legacy, inspired Shakespeare's play. A Marguerite of America blended Senecan elements and romance. His romances held fine lyric poems. Lodge also wrote moralizing pamphlets and plays, including The Wounds of Civil War and A Looking Glass for London and England with Robert Greene. Lodge embarked on voyages to the Canary Islands and South America to escape poverty. In 1597, he converted to Roman Catholicism, earning medical degrees from the University of Avignon and Oxford. He practiced medicine in London and Brussels. Thomas Nash. Thomas Nash was a pamphleteer, poet, dramatist, and also the author of The Unfortunate Traveller, or The Life of Jack Wilton, published 1594, the first picaresque novel in English. Nash was educated at the University of Cambridge, and about 1588 he went to London, where he became associated with Robert Greene and other professional writers. Some of his notable works include Christ's Tears over Jerusalem, Piers Penniless's Supplication to the Devil, Strange News, Summer's Last Will and Testament, The Anatomy of Absurdity, The Unfortunate Traveller, and The Terrors of the Night. The Unfortunate Traveller. The Unfortunate Traveller stands as a captivating picaresque novel penned by Thomas Nash, making its debut in 1594 against the backdrop of Henry VIII's reign. In the early months of 1593, Nash crafted what would become one of his most enduringly beloved works, The Unfortunate Traveller. This novel unfolds with a brisk and dynamic narrative set against an Italian backdrop and introduces readers to the mischievous protagonist, Jack Wilton, a page boy and cunning dice player. Often hailed as a precursor to the English novel, this work showcases Nash's creative ingenuity. While Nash referred to it as a chronicle, its distinct and fresh approach set it apart from his prior literary endeavors, fulfilling the urging of certain friends who sought a departure from his usual writing style. Brimming with adept pastiche, elaborate metaphors, and keen observations of attire and mannerisms, the novel's 1594 publication came with a dedication to the Earl of Southampton, although no corresponding gestures of favour are recorded. The narrative of The Unfortunate Traveller revolves around Jack Wilton, who occupies the unique role of an appendix or page within the court of Henry VIII. Employing his wit, Wilton engages in trickery and pranks, often at the expense of an austere victualler and other unsuspecting denizens of the realm. For his audacious antics, he faces chastisement in the form of a whipping. As the story unfolds, Wilton embarks on an adventurous journey that takes him through Germany and Italy. He assumes the role of a page to the Earl of Surrey, traversing the captivating landscape of these lands. His travels further lead him to Wittenberg, where he becomes an eyewitness to Luther's disputations. Throughout the novel, Nash masterfully weaves literary parody and pastiche into the fabric of the narrative. Amidst its pages, the book lovingly portrays Jack Wilton's escapades and encounters, ultimately guiding him towards a transformation and a path to a more virtuous existence. Additionally, the novel features a charming ode titled Lenten Stoof, dedicated to herring and infused with a picturesque depiction of Yarmouth, Norfolk, a bustling hub of herring fishing. In sum, The Unfortunate Traveller or The Life of Jack Wilton is a captivating work that immerses readers in a world of intrigue, adventure, and literary brilliance skillfully penned by the imaginative Thomas Nash.